guys, what's going on? How are you all doing? So yeah, welcome to the final track feedback call of the Academy. So yeah, you guys maybe know the drill by now. Get your oh, I'm not even, my video's not on. There we go. Get your tracks into the chat and let's give it a listen. So yeah, this will be the last one. Because, you know, people don't really use the Academy as much as we might like. So we're just putting everything into the accelerator, where it's going to be... Sorry, I'm just losing track of all the links. There we go. Where it's going to be, you know, pedal to the metal. And it's growing like crazy. So, yeah, end of an era. It's a shame to have to do this, but, you know, just makes sense. Anyway, let's get into track feedback. Just get my screen shared and sound shared, and yeah, I guess testament to why we're shutting this down is because, you know, it's the last one. 3 people are here. Normally we at the start we got like 10-15 people. On the Ask a Pro session on Monday there was actually a fair few, but the week before nobody showed up. So, you know. Anyway, you're up first, Mr. Fletcher. So yeah, let's give it a listen. Can we all hear this? A thumbs up? Cool. I'm just going to turn it down a bit so you can hear me talk over the top. So around here, you should probably add in an element after 8 bars, another percussive layer or something. The bass is very deep and subby, which is okay. Mid layers coming in. I think open up the filter a little bit more, so it cuts through a bit more, particularly at the start. The transition as well. I think you need some more effects and what have you. Oh yeah, you just mentioned there's no effects or automation. Okay, noted. That's okay, Valerie. Classic piano-y house vibe. I think you could do with like probably, you know, in like classic house they have that that sustained string sound, the really high one, which is like just like have one of those in. I'll make it, I guess, feel a bit more authentic. Wait, where's OBS gone? Just so I can keep track of the chat. No, don't show you that. There we go. This is fun. The bass could do with a lot more power and presence. It's getting lost in the mix. Some nice chords on the piano. Very jazzy, 7th-y. On the drum programming on this, I would recommend actually doing a little bit of like more... just a little bit more. It's very stripped back groove-wise, so it's just like hats, snare, and kick. I think you could do more to throw in offbeat percussion elements, really enhance the groove. You could throw in some ghost notes on the clap. Okay, this is a totally different vibe. Take this with a pinch of salt, but this is the best example of ghost notes I've ever seen played by Slipknot's drummer, Eloy Casagrande. Look, there it is. It's already there. I talk about this all the time. Oh, he's got the AC. Yep, okay. You appreciate this. But yeah, this, like, his new drummer, he is a master of ghost notes. Now, yeah, you have to take what he's doing here in a completely different vibe and apply it to yours. But check it out. Hold on. So on the main beat, you have boom, ba, boom, ba, boom, ba, boom, ba. But then the individual notes, like in between the, like those notes, the ghost notes, add so much groove to this. So the little soft ones. Super easy to do in Ableton. Just duplicate the, hold on, I've lost the track. Duplicate the MIDI note and just turn the velocity way down and have it using the same sound. So rather than just having it on the second beat of the bar, right? Just take the MIDI, copy it over somewhere and have some really low velocity notes, and that's going to add way more groove, and you don't actually need to add in new sounds. But I think on top of that, have some additional percussive sounds, like some bongos, some congas or something, like that will fit really nicely in the vibe of this track. Yeah, like you need to add in the transitional effects and stuff as well. I think some pads here wouldn't go amiss. Like, something like that. Because yeah, I feel like you kind of need... You kind of done this, I would say, already. I think you need to add in something else. You've got the nice piano chords, but I think you could do with some sort of a rhythmic pluck or something, or a more sustained sound. I don't know. It could be anything, but just something that's going to be a bit more upfront and melodic. You've got nice harmony here. You've got all of the key elements. I think you just need the... like the strings here, or the string, I should say. Maybe some nice pads in this break, and also like just some sort of melodic thing to make it really stand out, I think. And like the bass as well needs to really cut through a lot more. It's got quite a lot of mid energy around 1 to 2K. So you really want to bring out the lows a bit more, and actually the ultra highs to make it really crispy, but the high mids are a bit too high in the mix. So yeah, you need to have some stuff that you can add in to like make the dance section a bit more exciting, perhaps. And like, I don't know, melodically, you could use actually the same piano sound, but just have like a melody over the top of it to like fit over the chords. You could have it playing a similar rhythm, like I don't know, something similar rhythmically, but a few different extra additional notes in the higher register. That would probably work really nicely, and that would be all you need, really. But yeah, pretty cool track, Darren. Awesome. Yeah, and I think, yeah, just try to get the bass to really pop and improve the drums, and of course do the automation and the effects and what have you. Yeah, nice work, dude. All right. Seb, so seeing if there's any notes. Okay, collab. Cool. Very cool. Okay. So, yeah, pretty hectic track, I would say, all in all. Now, here, just before the drop, there was a noticeable drop in energy, and this is actually where you want to be increasing the tension way more. It was like just here. Like right there. The bass came out, and you know, you could do that effect, but you really need to lean into making those sounds really fucking mental, at least for like that moment of inflection there, so that you really do sell the drop, because people are expecting it and then the energy drops, but you've got to go further and ideally make it more consistent and smooth. Things like opening up the filters, the ADSR envelopes, and all sorts of shit you can do on the synth at source is going to help it to be just way more tense, right? And that's exactly what you need before a drop. The mix down is a little bit chaotic, I would say. The kick could do with a lot more thump and punch on it, and it sounds like there's a lot of, I guess, aggression in the mids, probably around sort of 800 to 1.5K somewhere, and it's lacking that balance from the low side, the warmth. So a lot of the sounds sound a bit sort of mid boosted, I guess would be the word, kind of like not bandpassed, but kind of feels like that, where you've got like a fair bit of low end, but it needs to be, I guess, probably keep the low end where it is, just turn the mids down a little bit, or do some EQing. Maybe if I download the file, I can show you in Ableton. But yeah, some very crazy sounds here. I think similarly as well, like I was saying to Darren, like you've got some cool stuff going on, but I think you need like some sort of melodic component at this point, because like, yeah, you've got some crazy bass sounds, but like in of themselves, like it's not really what most people remember. You need something melodically that's going to like catch the listener's ear. Let's just get this in, because I can show you on the EQ what you need to do. I think we're about here, right? Yeah. Very. Yeah, about here. More like 500-ish. Like the vocal effects you've done there. This is quite harsh here on that lead. Quite a lot of 3K as well. That cleans it up a whole lot more. Okay. But yeah, you ideally want a bit more like a bit more low end power to balance out these mids. But yeah, I think like in terms of the track, you ideally want to have a bit more progression with it, because it does like you do quite a lot of the same things again. But I also just think melodically you need like something really upfront that's going to stand out, or not even necessarily melodically, like the hook. The vocal's cool, but I think you need just an extra little hook layer or something. It's hard to make spoken word vocals, like unless they're really interesting, catchy, and it's quite a long, complicated phrase she says. You need something like short, repetitive, that's gonna like be upfront and some nice variations in there. Yeah, pretty cool. Like sound design on it is very interesting. Oh, my bad. But yeah, the mid aggression is quite heavy. There's a lot of rumble and shit in the low end you don't need. Right there. But yeah, pretty cool. Definitely got a lot of potential. I think it needs just that final hook layer or whatever. And yeah, you're good to go, I think. I'm going to download this Valerie, because we can get it in Ableton. Oh, my eyes are so dry, I can barely keep them open. I don't know what the hell's wrong with me. Oh, well, I do know what's wrong with me. I've been on calls all day, every day, back to back since 10 till 11 for the past week. So, yeah, I cannot wait for these school games to be over, let me tell you that. But also, I can't wait to win them. Anyway, cool. So, was there any context we got from you, Valerie? No, just cool. Let's give it a play.
Christmas Eve, walking past a barber shop, still cutting hair past 7 o'clock. Almost as if nothing's going
Okay, cool. Pop track.
And for a moment I wish time would stop. Now I know we've been there and not always proud of it, but if I hear it is what it is one more time, well I'm gonna lose my goddamn mind. I think I hate it.
Nice. The vocal has he's got like quite a lot of build up around 600 or to around 800, 900-ish, around that range. Now, with vocals, that tends to lead to a bit of like a sort of throaty, nasally sound. I was thinking that when the singer was singing, so you might want to just dip these frequencies a little bit. You can kind of hear them there. Yeah, very cool, very catchy. I think you could do with having a bit more smack on the drums. Now, obviously, this is not a house or techno track, so you don't want to go super crazy with the drum punch, but they're a little bit buried, and I think they could do with a bit more punch coming through the mix. Like, the kick's not really cutting through as much, but in stuff like this, like, you kind of want to have nice, crispy, punchy drums, just not to the extent you'd have it in house or techno, but yeah, find a good balance in between. It's a bit dark in the mix as well. A bit more top end. So I think in terms of like the production, you could do a little bit more to create the tension and release with like just before the chorus. Like something that they do often in pop is like the verse is turned down by a couple of dB, and then it gets slightly quieter towards the chorus. Then when the chorus happens, that's going to be at 0 dB or whatever. So then it feels like the chorus is way bigger and more emphatic. I actually do this all the time in house and techno tracks, but it's a little bit more subtle. Something that you can do as well. And this is really, really subtle. But what BPM's the track at, Valerie? Is it, if you know, just pop it in the chat. Because what I would do is add some automation on like some low pass filtering as well. Sorry, high pass filtering. Oh no, it's okay. I'll just 105, okay. Where were we? This was here. So, oh my god, I've lost it. So yeah, if you just like close the filter off over, so maybe, I don't know where the chorus was, but here, let's just add a little binary turn down by 1.5 dB, but then here, have it maybe down just a little bit more. I'm just really eyeballing this. I'm not doing this accurately, by the way. And then turn the stereo width down as well a little bit by like 15%. Cut out some of the lows. This works really well on house and techno, but like just take a listen now. So like, hey Justin. So you do this over the verse. I didn't line it up properly, but you see what I mean. And then like send everything to a little bit of reverb as well with on top of doing that, and it's just going to make things like a lot more emphatic and pumped. But yeah. Also to emphasize like going into the chorus, throw in a drum fill. That always works nicely. Like dun, 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 you need to create a bit more of a contrast between the verse and the chorus, I suppose. Like this has got to be super emphatic. Hey Robbie. Hey Justin. Okay. Vibe change, I like it. Nice. But yes, especially with that, like, I guess middle 8 part there, you want to similarly build up that tension, like create the contrast and be like, oh my god, the final chorus is coming. And another thing, like, actually producers do in the final chorus. Yeah, Justin, pop it in the chat. Well, we can, because it's the last one, I'll just make sure I give everybody feedback. Because I'm feeling generous. I do have a call straight after to onboard some of the accelerator. But anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, they bump the final chorus up by maybe like 1.5 dB just to make that final climax really emphatic in pop, classic technique. So yeah, the entire track is actually down 1 dB or 2 or a half dB and a half, very subtle. So the last one is going to be like, boom, oh my god, wow. So yeah. Yeah, try to get the drums to cut through more. Maybe a bit more power in the bass. It's quite a bit of build up around 3K. Yeah, very nice. Enjoyable. Nice work. Were you... Oh yeah, you were the singer on it. Very nice. Nice. Really cool. Yeah, nice work, Valerie. I'd love to see more from you for sure. Yeah, I think just like, I guess, try and you can tell like the musicality behind it is really good. I think it's just a case of getting the little subtle things in the production, like all these like little tiny tricks that you can do in pop music. It really do make all the difference. Particularly just to like, because yeah, pop is very much chorus focused, so you've got to build to that epic chorus, and it's got to be like pretty contrasting, so to speak. But not obviously too contrasting, but you know what I mean. Yeah, nice work. Okay, Justin. Okay, Plateau Plomo. See where this is going. Okay. So the like the builds to that drop, I think like the first 8 bars or so, like was very static, and you could do a bit more to make the sounds flow a little bit more. I also think that like the drop felt a little bit underwhelming. Like after the heavy build up, it just didn't really quite blow up. Like in like kind of what I was saying to Valerie, right? So, but it's a bit a different context, but it's the same principle. Like you need your drop to be like very very epic and climactic compared to the build. Why is it not playing? There we go. Like here. Like the build felt louder. And it could do with like, oh shit, sorry, didn't mean to skip it. It could do with like transitional effects as well, more automation to open up the sounds and synths, but also like crashes, like rises, all sorts of stuff that you need to throw in to help guide that transition. There's not really much sub on this as well. It's except for there, but it kind of feels like the sub part is quite subdued here, and kind of as if it's like high passed in a way. I know it's not, but it's just the balance isn't quite there. You kind of really need that boom, 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 boom in there deep in the subs. That's going to really, really help that cut through. But also the kick doesn't really have any audible sub frequencies that are going to punch through and drive the danceability here. It's also like quite dark. I would guess, I'm doing a stab in the dark here, but I would guess this was perhaps made on either hi-fi headphones or DJ headphones, because it's lacking low end and high end, and naturally those kind of headphones put more high end and low end in, and so you actually hear more bass and trebles than are actually in the track. That would be my guess. So yeah, there's a lack of low end, and it kind of has like a blanketed feel, as if the speakers have a blanket over them. They're not letting those crispy highs in, if that makes sense. I was a monitor. Okay, I stand corrected. Is your room treated? Because often there are bass issues in untreated rooms, and also with high frequencies as well. They can cause a lot of crazy reflections and shit. So there's a lot of things that can cause this. It's just a stab in the dark. Yeah, it does need a lot more power in the bass. Under construction. Okay, got you. So yeah, this layer that's coming in here is very, very loud compared to everything. It's just sort of drowning everything out, like here. Well, at that point it did. And again, the transition needs a lot more work to make it a bit more smoothed over. And also the sounds. I always talk about this automation. The sounds need to evolve more, create tension, play with sounds at source, open up the filters, play with the ADSR envelopes. All sorts of stuff like that is going to help it flow and not feel so static. Like if you just listen to the bass, it's doing the same thing quite consistently. But this is where you want to really lean into it. This lead is very distorted and overdriven. Also very loud. So yeah, this like break here is a little bit confusing because you like building up the energy, then dropping it, then building up again. But it's not quite like, if you're gonna do stuff like that, you really have to sell it with automation and also the effects as well. Like these transitions just kind of happen, and they've got to be like very convincing. So if you fool someone once with the fake drop, you're gonna have to do it even more so with the second build. And if you do the third one, the classic trilogy break, like I think you've just done here, you're gonna have to really make that final one convincing. But I wasn't really convinced the first time, if that makes sense. And I say that just because without the automation and effects, you're not going to create convincing builds and drops here. Like the reverse crashes, reverse sounds, stuff like that, additional rises, but more so, honestly, the automation. That makes such a massive difference with tension release. But without that, it just doesn't really deliver. So like on this din 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 din, like open up the filter and the decay, so it's like ding 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 ding, you know, does that kind of shit. If you play with a filter and the release, that's going to create way more tension. Wasn't entirely sure about that part. Sure. Yeah, I think like there's a lot, like during this break and build, there's a lot of like contrasting energies. So there was like probably 5 times where the track, you're saying the track's going to drop, but it doesn't. 5 is way too much. 3 is the maximum. And if you're doing 3, you have to like really like sell it. So yeah, I would probably dial back the amounts of little fake drops and builds you're doing and just strip it back. Just do one. Like that's easy, or one fake one and one proper build. Because yeah, it's quite disjointed in terms of you building up the energy, then it just stops again. You're building up the energy and it stops again, and it's going to be confusing for the listeners and dancers. Yeah, this lead sound is just taken over the entire mix. You can't really hear the kick at all here now because of it. So yeah, I think the balancing on this needs a lot of work to get it to, like, you really want your kick to be the loudest element, probably then the bass. This lead sound has just like smothered all of the drums and the kick and the bass as well, so you got to be careful with that. A lot more side chaining. And I think as well, like, you need a stronger hook or something, that like a melodic component that's gonna really stick out, perhaps. I say this a lot, but it's true. If you need something that's gonna be like, hey, this is the point of the track. It's cool, definitely some cool ideas. I just think the arrangement and building parts need a fair bit of work. Appreciate this was from 2 years ago, so your sound may have evolved a lot since then. But yeah, just some things to think about. Well, guys, we have gone over a bit. These are meant to be half an hour, but yeah, this was the last of a dying breed, unfortunately, for track feedback. So, yeah, thanks for everybody that's been a part of this community so far and gotten the most out of it. I know some people are quite new here, some people have been here for quite some time, but, you know, we have probably just grown out of it, unfortunately. Like, we did expect it. We had some very big plans for this, and we wanted, you know, this to be like one of the one-stop shops where people can grow for free and learn, but just people didn't really show up to the sessions, and there were 2 calls a week. In fact, there were 4 calls a week, actually. Then we cut them down because no one was showing up, and then we cut them down even further. They used to be hour long, now they're half an hour, and so yeah, it's just people didn't make the most of it, and you know, we'd rather focus on people in the accelerator who do show up and want to get help. So appreciate that. You know, it might not be for everybody, but thank you guys for sticking with us, and I hope you've learned a lot whilst you were here, whether that was a long time or short time. But yeah, as you see, Friday, 5 p.m. UK time or 10 a.m. Pacific time is where we close this off for good. I would still like to do feedback so in some capacity. I don't know how that would be. Maybe it's going to be on YouTube. I have no idea how we're going to do the submissions or anything like that, but we'll work it out and find a way. But for now, it is the end of the line. At least, well, not right now. There is still till Friday where, you know, you can still make the most out of the community, get people's contact details, and I suppose, and get some collabs in. But yeah, as of then, we're going to shut it off. If you do enjoy this stuff and you want more, there's tons of additional things. And so the courses in the academy, they only scratch the surface of what we have in the accelerator. There's a ton of stuff in there, like things on very specific things like EQ, compression, and you know, like mixing, arrangement, effects, writing melodies, all sorts of stuff, and live sessions literally every single day of the week except Sundays. And on those, there's always people on there who are there to vibe out, learn, and sometimes it takes just getting some skin in the game to like really make the most of it. And like, you know, we want people to make awesome tunes, right? Like if we win, if you win, we win, and we want you to succeed. So yeah, those people that take massive action get the biggest results. So look, if you feel like you want more and you don't want this journey to end, then join the accelerator. It's the cheapest it's ever going to be. The price is literally going to double on Friday, and it's never going to be this price again. So yeah, time is now, really. Otherwise, you know, we'll be on YouTube, and it'll be sadly not as interactive. And we'll find some way to do feedback. I don't know how that's going to look, but we'll work it out. But yeah, big love to you as well. And I'll catch you guys later. But yeah, if you are thinking about the accelerator, don't sweat, and don't hesitate too much. Like, there's a 7-day money back guarantee. We've got some crazy results for people even in just like a week or two of work. So yeah, guys, give it a bash, try it out. Money back guarantee. It's the cheapest it's ever been and ever will be. It's actually probably going to go up way more than the current price. So anyway, give it a shot. If you love it, great. If not, whatever. All right, guys. Well, don't be a stranger. You know where I am. Hit us up on Instagram. Hit me up on Instagram if you ever want to chat music or what have you. And yeah, I'll still be around in the community until Friday. So catch you guys on the other side. Oh my god, what the hell? So my mouse is going crazy there. But yeah, guys, I'll catch you on the other side. Have a good one. Bye.